So it's countdown. I was just saying, it's a time gun. 16. 11.
It's Saturday. Can I have a lion? Today's the day. Come on. Whoa. Get your paws off the cereal box. I saw it first. Hey, Clyde, look. The show's about to start. Whoa! Oh boy! Our time in green is gonna be the biggest and bestest ever! Shh! Just getting started. Speed by. Kids next door, battle station!
Now, there we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Furcation 2019. What do we all think of the intro video there? You want a copy? Why not? We'll see if we can. Oh, that one actually will be coming up for auction in the charity auction. So just let you know that will be available to buy. Want to give a shout out to. I want to give a shout out to our animators there, Frey Fox, who's done the fantastic work with the opening animation with Frankie and Clive, and also the Animals of Farthing Wood bit for us. The TV clips were chosen by our very staff members of the actual children's TV show from their childhood that stood out the most. So the cheers were great to hear. I think I was trying to work out which one was the most popular there. Chuckle Vision, I think, was probably one of the loudest ones. So yeah, that was quite a good bit of fun. But the animation was really good, and it did feature my good old buddy, old pal, Frankie the Ferret. You can shut up now. It's a puppet. Anyway, we'd like to welcome you all to the Sandy Glade Holiday Park. This is quite a bit bigger than Sandaway last year, although it does seem as though it's not big enough for us. we were quite surprised by the number of people we've had this year, 593 of you. So Yeah, we've had to really put you all in some tight spaces, which I know furries are quite used to, and some of you do interlock. So yes, this year we do also have the use of our June House. So the June House, some people are actually in right now, are actually watching this on a live feed from there. That is one of the nice little touches we've got this year, as the schedule not only has events run by us, but there are some events that will be run by you, the attendees, as well. So yeah, there's going to be quite a packed schedule coming up this weekend. So just also want to say that the June House, once the panels have stopped running, that is actually also going to be a quiet space for this weekend. So if you don't like the hustle and bustle of the clubhouse, you want somewhere to get away from the lights, the music, just chill out with your friends, bit of a social area, maybe play some board games. When there's no panels running, that will be a space that you can use to do exactly that. So for those of you who like the music and like the atmosphere in the clubhouse, we will have a fantastic DJ lineup this weekend. We've got everything playing from electro swing to hard house and EDM. So it's going to be quite a good lineup. I know old Frankie here is hoping to hear something from his favourite band. Take that! And that! And that! It's a puppet! Shut it! Give us it back. I've told you it's a nice little earner for you. You've got to behave yourself. Are you going to behave? I didn't hear you. Say that again? Good. Moving on, so to start with, I'd like to also introduce our charity for this year. So, was that Frankie? What? I'm abusive to you? It's a puppet! You want to take him with you? Gladly. Anyway, moving on at this point, we'd like to hand over to our charity liaison, Dog Y, and he would like to introduce our charity for this year. So, Dog Y, where are you?
I'm here.
Oh, in the darkness somewhere.
Hello. Oh, wow. We don't want wrestlers anyway, so wow. It's bright up here. As Jasper said, my name's Dog Y, or Jana. It's great having two names unless you get them mixed up and call yourself Dogger. Tends to raise my eyebrows. Anyways, I've got the best job in that I get to rinse every penny of you guys for a good cause. So I'm not going to stand here talking too long. I want to introduce from the charity this year, which I hope you all know now, is Furc Animal Sanctuary. I want to introduce Leanne and Georgia, who are going to speak a little bit about what they do at Furc, and also possibly meet you guys and maybe ask for a little cash to start off with. So I'll just hand you over now to Leanne.
Great, thank you so much, Ben. Cool. So I usually do this talk in about 45 minutes. Oh, thank you! We're off to a great start. I want to raise £10. I'll have that then. So, thank you. So, as Ben said, we're Furc Animal Sanctuary. So for those of you who haven't heard of us, which I imagine, because Ben was saying a few of you have travelled quite a way to be here, we are based near Chard, which is in Somerset. We are about an hour from here. So we have been rescuing animals for over 80 years now, or 80 years this year. So we have a really lovely story, which I'm going to share a little bit about. These lights are really bright. It's really unnerving not being able to see anyone, so I'm just scanning. So yeah, I work at Furc. I'm Community Fundraising Officer, which means I get to do all these cool events and come out and meet lovely people and try and get them enthusiastic and behind the work that we do. Georgia is our Community and Events Assistant, so gets to come with me and yeah, shout at me when I run over time. So, I'll do a really, really quick history and recap. So, like I said, we have a really cool story. So we were founded by a really remarkable lady who is Nina, the Duchess of Hamilton and Brandon, way, way, way back when, at the beginning of World War II. Now, I don't know how many of you know, but at the beginning of World War II, people were really concerned about how they were going to be able to keep feeding their animals with rationing. And if you think about how unsettled pets can get during bonfire night, imagine a bombing or an air raid, for example, in London. It would have been absolutely terrifying for the animals. So a really tough decision was made, and quite a lot of people ended up having their pets put to sleep if they couldn't find homes in the countryside. It's estimated that between 450,000 and 750,000 pets in London alone in the first week of World War II were put to sleep, which is really sad. Really, really sad. But then this lovely lady Nina, she was up in Scotland, she heard about this, she came down on the train, she put a broadcast out on the BBC to try and find a home for some of these animals. So her ethos was she wanted to match homes. So if you couldn't afford to send your pet away, someone who would be able to take on that animal and then hopefully reunite you with your pet when you came back safe from the war. Unfortunately, as we know, that didn't happen. Many people didn't come back. So Furc was started that's Nina, in the Shaftesbury estate in Berwick St John in Wiltshire, which is a little way from here, in a really, really lovely estate, which is unfortunately no longer standing. But her idea was to take in these animals, and the rumour is when she came back from giving the broadcast on the BBC, there were a queue of pet owners outside her door with up to 50 cats, dogs, and even a parrot waiting for sanctuary during World War II. So we come from a place of real passion for animals and for giving them somewhere safe to live, and that we carry on through to this day. And now we're going to get to the fun bit, which is a picture of all the really cute animals. So these are some of our sort of historic stories. So as you can see, it was a really it must have been a really mad place to live because you'd walk out your front door and that was kind of your view. You'd see all these animals just wandering free rein around the site. These are way back, obviously. So these are the Paddington dust cart horses. So obviously everything was pulled by horses, and then when that stopped happening, they needed somewhere to go, and they were going to be sent to slaughter. Then Nina got word, and they were rescued and rushed off down to Furc, where they lived the rest of their lives pulling the hay carts for the animals, and generally living a bit of a life of luxury. So yeah, like I said, we're based in Chard, but in 1975 we moved from Shaftesbury to Chard, and that's kind of a bit of an idea of how far we travelled. It's our grand opening in 1970. So when we moved down to Chard, we had to take some animals with us. So we only took 12 animals because that was all we could afford to take. And this is Joby, Joby the donkey, who was renowned for being a bit of a troublemaker. He, in that picture, he had to be rescued by the fire brigade because he decided his current field wasn't enough. He went through 3 fields, a row of fencing, and over a ditch, and then unfortunately was found in a bog. So he was rescued by the firefighters, which was a big news story in those days, pre-Brexit, obviously. So we don't currently do wildlife rescue. When the legislation changed, it became a bit more difficult to take in and then keep wild animals when they've been rescued. But for example, these are Starsky and Hutch, were 2 of our resident raccoons who we had for a couple of years until they sadly passed away. But they live long and happy lives at the sanctuary. And that's us today. So we are actually open to the public, so if anyone is local, I don't know if anyone's from Somerset, Devon or Dorset, we cover that kind of area for our rehoming. But we're also a really nice day out. You get to come and meet some of the animals that your money that you've donated from this event will help. I love that noise. So, that is our current cattery. We're currently launching a massive appeal to have it rebuilt. It's been standing for over 25 years, so it's showing some signs of wear and tear. It's also not up to date with the most current biosecurity measures, and while we're doing our best to keep it as clean as possible, we think there's a lot more that we could be doing. I will tell you the story of one of my favourite sanctuary cats. So this is Flinch, in this little bottom corner, hiding. So Flinch was brought into us and he was severely malnourished. He was really poorly. He was only a year old. We weren't sure if he was going to survive. He had something called Kalichi virus. I don't know if anyone's heard of Kalichi virus, but it infects the respiratory tract. And actually the advice of the vets was, give it a few days. If he doesn't look like he's turning around, unfortunately it's time to call it a day for this really poor young cat. But the dedication of our animal care staff, who are phenomenal, spent day and night feeding him and making sure that he was warm and well looked after. And obviously being Kalichi virus, cat with Kalichi virus, he can't interact with other cats who don't have the virus because it's passed through bites. But he was found a home with a lady who's home all the day, every day. I can't speak, goodness me. and he is now living the absolute life of Riley in his new home. So that's the kind of thing that we do here at Furn, is we take animals in who don't necessarily have anywhere to go, and we try and do our best to turn them around and get them into a loving family. So these are our kennels. So we were really, really, really lucky. Well, unlucky in one respect. The kennels were flooded in 2013, but we were able to turn that around and we launched an appeal. It was the first major appeal we've ever done, and we managed to get them rebuilt. And we now have a capacity for up to 50 dogs. We don't ever take in that many because of the volunteer and staff commitment would be enormous. So what we do is we take in as many as we can. For example, Jasper here, our little Jack Russell Terrier, who is the face of our Friend of Fern scheme, which is our monthly direct debit scheme. He was actually found tied to the top of the drive on a January morning. He was really cold, he was shivering, and it soon became really apparent that actually, after a vet check, his eyes were starting to go. He was still only young, and we actually think that quite a lot of animals that come into us are dropped in because their owners can't afford necessary vet surgery or medical problems that are ongoing that mean they just can't afford to keep the animal. So Jasper was tied to the top of our drive, but he was brought in and he was rehomed with a lady, and he had one eye operated on and then the other, which cost us about £4,000. So for any of you that have animals, you know that vet bills are incredibly expensive. And unfortunately, we don't receive any discount for a charity. That's just the nature of how it is. But we were really lucky. We managed to raise some money, and he had his eyes operated on. He lived a long, happy life with a lovely lady, and he has come a bit of a symbol about what we do here at Furn with the kennels. Bo is another dog. So in the top right-hand corner, he was dropped off to us with really severe hip dysplasia, which means that his joints just weren't working properly, and actually moving and running and playing, it caused him a lot of pain, but we were incredibly lucky. Again, we launched an appeal and we were able to get him the hydrotherapy and physiotherapy that he needed, and he's now living a really good life. So we're really lucky to have been a part of his story. Any horse people in? A few. So horses, dogs and cats are the animals that we rehome. A majority of the animals, so the small animals and the farm animals, stay with us at Furn for life, but these are some of our resident horses. So Solo and What's It, you can probably tell why he's called What's It. It's because he's a shit. No, he's lovely, really. So he was a child's pony, but unfortunately his eyesight was also deteriorating. And obviously horses, as prey animals, once their eyesight starts to go, they can become incredibly unpredictable. And even as a pony that small, he could cause some serious damage. So he was on his way to the slaughterhouse, and they called in on us as a last-minute sort of last-ditch attempt to save his life. And he found a home for life here, and now he kind of plays nanny to some of the younger horses that we have come in, and he's fantastic. We do have a no breeding policy at the sanctuary, but sometimes some slip through the net, and that is Betty and lovely Vera over there. So large farm. This is probably one of our most diverse groups of animals. So we've got Chili the giant. Now the lady standing there is probably, yeah, no? Bit taller than you, so about there. So that's Tara. Tara is our rehoming manager. Now Chili was dropped at the top of our drive. Again, you're seeing a theme, with 3 of his siblings on the morning of our Diamond Jubilee in 1999. And it wasn't until a couple of years later we had a new staff member start, and she went, "What? That's really big. It's a cow, what do you expect?" So we got someone from the Guinness World Book of Records in, and we measured him, and he was pipped to the post by 2 inches for the world's tallest bovine by an oxen in Italy. Bastard. So we actually got a lot of great publicity off that, although we did have one American news channel ask Jenny Whedon, who is a member of our team, how many McDonald's do you think he'd make? She was probably told where to go. So Chili remained with us until 2009, where unfortunately, because of his size, the arthritis in his joints started to make life a little bit too painful, so we made the hard decision to say goodbye to Chili, but he's left a really lasting legacy at Furn, and actually there's a mural, so if you ever do come and visit us, you can see how you measure up against our tallest ever resident. Very quickly, I think I've still got a few minutes. Okay, so Pumpkin the sheep with the 3 legs, so cool because she arrived on Halloween. We also have a number of pigs, including 3 piglets, who used to be piglets and are now massive. But they arrived in a dog carrier altogether, and they're now like here, so couldn't do that now. Prevention is better than cure. So the sheep is not sunbathing. We are really, really hot on our medical care at Furn, because obviously if you get ahead of something, the animal doesn't suffer, and also it saves you in vet bills down the line. So we are really careful. We have our farrier come out whenever we need. Horse dental visits, which are a lot more stressful than you'd imagine. And you'd probably imagine them quite stressful. But we do our best to make sure the horses are well trained, and that also is a positive experience for them. Our cattle crush, we had to have a special one built for Chili because he destroyed the other one. And then small farm, my favourite. Even as a horse person, it's my favourite. So we have a really diverse group of animals in our small farm. So we've got our chinchillas. We now have dagoos as well to add to the collection. And they are so cute. I haven't got a good picture of one yet. They don't stay still. We've got a number of ferrets as well. One more, if anyone's listening, if someone wants to get the ferret to me after the beating, we'll have it. Rabbits and guinea pigs, and then a number of poultry who live free range around the site. So we rehome, like I said, cats, dogs and horses to within 40 miles of the sanctuary. So some of you may be listening who would be interested in a new pet. But it's also more than just rehoming. So we have a team of over 200 volunteers who make what we do every day possible. When you've got 72 acres, manning that all with just staff, it would not be cost effective. So we're really careful to make sure that whatever we can do with volunteers is, and yes, that is me. So that is our mascot, Freddie Fern. He comes out to a lot of our events, not today, he is otherwise engaged, but he's lovely. Yeah, so this is kind of, we have a great team of volunteers who come out and help us, and actually it's a real social lifeline for them as well, so we're really, really lucky. Unfortunately, what we do doesn't come cheap, and this is the beggy portion, I'm really sorry. But we have to do it. So running the sanctuary costs an estimated £1 million a year. Our vet bills can be between £10,000 and £15,000 a month, because to prepare a cat or a dog for rehoming, say you have a dog in who hasn't been neutered or spayed, that can be upwards of £250 a dog just for a basic health check, checking your vaccinations up to date, teeth, nails, spaying or neutering. It costs a lot of money, and while we love what we do, we couldn't run without the support of people like you. So coming out to events like this and talking to generous people and people who love, so Ben has been fantastic, you guys have all been amazing, so we are incredibly lucky, but we don't receive any government funding at all, so we are entirely run on donations, so anything you could give that would help us keep going and keep rehoming animals. And then I promise to bring more pictures of animals to the closing ceremony at the end of the weekend. And some more. This is my other favourite story. So this is Pee-wee, just here, just there. So again, like I said, we have our no breeding policy on the sanctuary, but sometimes some slip through the net. So Primrose was rescued as part of an RSPCA seizure of animals. Primrose came to us, and after a few days, even though they were quite slim, we went, she's not overly slim, is she? And then we went out one morning and Pee-wee was there. Unfortunately, he is too small for any of our fences, so he spent the first 6 months of his life in the cattery, which raised some feline eyebrows, I'm sure. But he is now a member of our herd here at Furc, and he is lovely. He's really charming. The goats are fantastic. Freddie the Great Dane, Solo the pony, and then never work with children or animals is the saying. We work with both because we have an education program as well, so we must be completely mental. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to let you get back to your scheduled programming, but we'll be at the door with buckets. We'll also have buckets around the site throughout the weekend, and anything you can do to help us out would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Leanne and Georgia. Just, obviously, as said, it is very important the work they do, so please do give generously. There are a number of ways to give generously over the weekend. Obviously, we've got some buckets coming around now. There will be buckets on the bar, there'll be buckets in ops, there'll be things, so drop any change you've got, any point there, that's fine. Tomorrow we've got the dealer's den, so there will be a table that I will be staffing with items from themselves and also a number of items generously donated by you guys. So stop by and feel free to peruse and purchase charity auction, which as Jasper mentioned earlier on. There's a number of items, including the animation, which is on Betamax, and it was actually fed on Betamax, so you might need to purchase a Betamax player, but yes, absolutely, it will be for sale there. But obviously, guys, thank you in advance for everything that you guys are going to do, and for the money that you'll give to us. We look forward to that, and I should be handing back to Jasper, but I don't know where he is. Jasper? Hello, how are you?
I'm here, and now I'm live. There we go. Okay, I'd like to thank Dogwye for helping with the charity this year, and also Furn Animal Sanctuary for joining us for this year. So raise lots of money, and it's all going to go to a very worthy cause, that's certainly for sure. Okay, the next thing I would like to do at this point is to introduce you to some of our staff who helped to run Furcation this weekend. As we've grown, we've had to ensure that we've had a large staff team to make sure that all bases are covered and that you guys get as good a weekend as we can. First of all, I'd like to bring up my 3 models. Where are you? Right at the back there, I can see them coming up now. There's a reason that I'm bringing these up. Sometime. That's 2. Where's number 3?
Hiding.
Clearly doesn't want to be up here. Zenny, where are you? Oh, here he comes. Okay, so our 3 models here are displaying the ways that you can identify one of the Furcation staff members should you need them. So Anthropuppy here is displaying the Furcation staff t-shirt and red lanyard, so they're just our general staffers, staff on the back as well, so it makes it nice and clear. We are all radioed up, so if you need any urgent help, any staff member you need to get your hands on, look for a red lanyard and they'll be able to assist you. If it is a security concern, Zenny here is one of our security operatives for this weekend. He is displaying the blue lanyard, so a blue lanyard is one of our security team. You can grab one of those and they will help you with any of your security needs. And finally, if something does befall you this weekend and you end up having an unfortunate accident for some reason, we don't want that happening, trust me. But if that unfortunate thing does happen, our welfare team are visible with the green lanyard on the end, so they can be easily spotted out with that as well. At night, we will also have high-vis jackets on, so they can be identified. Welfare and security will have the blue and green, and all other staff will have the yellow and orange. So again, at night time, you'll be able to easily spot us around on the park if you're looking for a staff member in a hurry. So thank you, models. That's how to easily identify them this year. I think I'm going to say it. I think Zenny's quite popular here tonight, isn't he? Okay. So for your staff team for Furcation, I've got Anthropuppy here beside me. Myself and Anthropuppy form the executive team for Furcation. I'm the chairman and Anthropuppy is our vice chairman. So we're here to ensure again that the weekend runs as smoothly as possible. If there's any major issues, no doubt you'll end up with one of us trying to help you out as best we can. So either myself or Anthropuppy will be the ones to help there. Moving forward, we've got our events team, so that will be Alpha, who is currently behind stage somewhere. And his team. Where's the rest of his team? The events team. Come forward, please.
Do I have to?
Actually, no, I promised the staff member I was going to do this. Events team, come on down!
Really?
Here they come.
So, yeah, I am the events manager for Furcation. I am pretty much in charge of everything that you see here. I have a wonderful team for once to help me out. Yeah. I'm going to start with my assistant manager, who is Starfire. He is also the dealers manager as well, so if any of you are dealers for tomorrow, this is the guy that you would have been dealing with over the emails. If there's any problems with your stalls or anything, this is the guy to see. Next we've got Jack Shepherd. He is in charge of logistics and staging. So basically everything that you see around us, he is in charge of that. So if anything's out of place, blame him, not me, okay? And on the end we've got Frio here, who is general health and safety. Yeah, he's the one that people don't like. If you want to boo health and safety, this is the guy to boo. What? Oh, I was going to say something. Okay. Well, yeah, this is the events team. If there's any problems with any of the events or anything like that, please leave us feedback, because we do go on your feedback, because we're all here for you guys. So if there's anything you want us to improve, please let us know.
Okay, so that's the team that will keep you entertained for the weekend. Now for the teams that will keep you safe. So where is Bad Boy Bunny and Geo and the rest of the security team? Or welfare team, as they should be called. On their way up now, slowly. I can just, from here, because these lights are so bright, it's like having 5 collapsed suns in front of me. All I can see is the reflective jackets. Okay, I'll hand over to Gio. He can introduce himself and his team.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Gio. I've been doing this for too long, as you can see. Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is my wonderful team. Pause, Annie. You all love him anyway. We're all going to hear for you. We're all here for you. Our job is for you. All these fine people here will do a fantastic job. They're all trained. Well, Zanny, a little bit more. Well, later, darling. But yes, this is Zanny. He's my deputy. He'll harass me. Help me. Go on.
Hi, I'm Mason.
There we have it.
Hi, I'm Asa.
And I'm Dranolith. I know your favourite side, don't take me feelings that much, come on.
And I'm V.
And that's your team for days. Bad Boy Bunny's over in the other house. And I'm just here to introduce these fine people. They've all worked very hard. Pause, Annie. Can we just get a round of applause for these wonderful people here that have volunteered their time? I hope everybody here has a great vacation and back to Jasper.
Thank you very much. Okay, so from one side of keeping you safe to the other side. So we've already met Phoenix, one of our lovely models, but if the rest of the first aiders would like to come and join on stage. You can tell which one does the night shift here. I'm sure there's more of you than this. They're hiding, are they? Is that what's going on? Fair enough. Right, well, you like talking, so I'm going to hand you a microphone.
Many of you already know me, I'm Stoneman. I've been one of the team leads this evening sharing with Phoenix. We're obviously here to look after you if any of you unfortunately get taken ill or injured, or if you just need a cuddle and an ice pack. £5 each.
I'm Phoenix and I'm here to help you help yourselves. So make sure you don't overheat, of course. While fursuiting, make sure you keep yourselves really hydrated, and hopefully you won't need us.
Thank you very much. There are medics there. Okay, another team that you will likely come into contact with over the course of the weekend is the operations team, who are based in Chalet 4. So if Cosmo and his team would like to come to the stage. I'm really struggling to see with these lights. Actually, that works. That's better. Although it still doesn't quite hide how loud my suit is. Okay, I will hand the microphone to Mr. Snowmew.
Good evening. Can I have an A up?
This is the operations team. I am Cosmo, and from left to right we have Viper, Kumo, Gothicat, CD, who is our head of social media. I'll get back to you in a minute. You stay there. We have Praxis, and on the end there is Cody in his very fetching bandana. We have the operations team. We hang out in Chalet 4. I had to think for a minute there. And we are the guys you come to if you have any issues this weekend. Unless it's an issue with your accommodation, that would be the reception desk just behind you over there. I would say if you're late to register, we'll handle that for you tomorrow morning. But anyways, pop by. We're a friendly bunch. We don't bite, unless you ask nicely. And our head of social media here, CD, would love if you would have a little selfie with him. Yes, yes, put your tweeting hat on, go right ahead. We should have got you a tweeting hat, you know.
Where is it?
Well, unfortunately, we took him to Confuzzled, and he left his tweeting hat in the hotel. Anyway, CD, pack it in. I think we've hogged your limelight long enough. Give us a round of applause and we'll make our way. Okay, so the next team is the team that actually assisted you all in getting here, Cozy and the registration team. So why don't we drag Micus into this as well? Where's Micus? Micus, you going to come join as well? Here they are. So Cozy here has been running the registration side of the website for us and helping out with the registration on site. Under the watchful eye of Micus as our data protection officer this year. So I'll hand over to Cozy, he can tell you a short bit about what they do.
Well, obviously we just do registration. I'm the head of registration. This is Lucky and Ant. Milo is not here, so I can't say anything to him. And go in a second. I think we'll be reg again. But please try and be in by 9. Otherwise you'll have to go to ops in the morning. I'll pass you over to Micus.
Yay, Micus.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. Well, I'm your friendly neighbourhood DPO. I keep your digital self safe and make sure your data stays within the Furcation. Luckily it has, so we're all good. And yeah, that's basically me. Back to Jasper.
Okay, the next guys are sat currently right at the back, and if they put the house lights on you'll be able to see them. Right sat at the back behind the desk over there is Tim and Blue, who are our AV operatives for this year. They also help to build the registration system, so a fair bit of... somewhere back here, where is he? There he is. Spark here has been leading up a lot of the technology for this year. He's responsible for the info points that I'm sure have kept a few of you rather entertained so far already. He's also been doing a lot of general electronics for us, and is also the maker of... our puppets. So no doubt you'll see him around over the weekend and you can geek out with him about lines of code and the fun that he's been putting into the info points. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the last couple of teams now, we've got where's Ash and Matty K and the volunteers? Somewhere back there. Here they come. Give them a round of applause already. Okay, I'll hand over to Ash. He can explain what who his team are and what they do.
Let's see about I can mess this up. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ash Blackthorne. I'm head up the logistics team alongside Matty here, and somewhere out there, Matrix is hiding out in the dark. We handle all the lifting, shifting, building, and of course have to take all the bits at the end across the course of the event. And it's my first year doing this. I've been coming to Furcation for 4 years, but first time on the team. It's a bit of a steep learning curve, but fun nonetheless. So big thank you to all of the team who have kindly given their time to everything, to keep everything flowing nicely behind the scenes and putting it all together. And as a quick run through, Matty, Matrix, Destiny, Blaze, Jack has given us a hand, Floofyeen, Tico, Shaspio, and many more who have lent the paw, helping make this year's event happen and come together.
I swear to God. I'm Matty K. I'm usually the first person you speak to when you're asking if you want to volunteer, help out, whatnot. I'm also the head of the one that's handling the volunteer emails at the moment. Generally, if you want to give us a hand anytime, just come see me, basically. You can't miss me in the scarf. I swear we wore in the high visors before they went out of fashion. And that's all.
Thank you very much. Okay, the last team I'd like to introduce you all to, I'm going to pull together as one the media team, so if I can have Kyle and Brandy and the entirety of their teams up here. And they can just give a quick speech on the work they've done so far for this weekend. And you too, Scruff. See you hiding there. It's working, is that what you do? Okay, I'll hand over to Brandy first for a quick word about the videography team and photography team. I have to remember what it was then.
Hello all, oh blimey, there's all right. So I'm Brandy, I lead the photography and videography team. We're all here to take all your lovely mugs, photos and videos. So,
my name's Anakin.
I'm Latte.
I'm Kitchy.
I'm Crofty.
I'm Sterling.
And we have Scruff hiding over there. Come on, give a wave.
Please wave.
So yeah, we'll be around. If you need one of us for photos or videos or anything, just give us a shout and yeah, we'll just do what we do.
Okay, and Poker on the other end of the stage here is leading up the creative side, so this is all the artwork that's gone into the lovely comic book for this year. He's also been helping to coordinate the animation, so I'll hand over to Poker for a quick word.
Hello Furcation and welcome back. I am Poker, also the head of media. I'm also the person behind the comic book, the sponsor shirts, mugs and your com badges. I want to make some honourable mentions. I want to make a thank you to 4 Jacks and Frey Fox, who sadly can't be here, for animating for us this year, and it's been a big privilege to work aside along them. And also, I want to make a huge thanks to Scrapter, who also sadly can't make it this year, who's responsible for making the Telegram sticker packs, the sticker sheets, and also I would like to make a mention to also Ash Blackthorn, who's working alongside me to make the photo shoot happen this year. And also I'd like to make a mention to Paz, who's also our resident 3D modeler and animator. It's been a pleasure to work with him this year. And also another mention, I'd like to thank Mute Studios, who is responsible for making this masterpiece artwork that's on our comic books, the front and the back cover, so many thanks to him. And also, last mention, I want to thank one of our attendees, Taco Teco, who designed our window stickers provided to everyone this year, so another thank you for giving to us, we liked it so much. And I wish you all a very warm welcome to Furcation 2019 and wish you well.
Thank you very much, guys. Okay, so now you've met all of the staff for Furcation this year, so you now know who the faces are, who to pick on whenever there's a problem. Just a reminder that if there is a problem, please do tell us. We're not ogres, we're not going to bite, unless, as Cosmo said, you ask us too nicely. Any problems that we've got, we want to try and get these worked out for you, so anything at all, feel free to come up to us. one problem we have had this weekend, you may have remembered on social media, we asked you guys, what food would you like to eat this weekend? Now, the most popular option was waffles. We did have a waffle van, but unfortunately they've been unable to make it due to a death in the family, and as it's a family-run business, you know, we can understand. However, a replacement has been made, and tomorrow at the back of the clubhouse there will be guys serving soft scoop ice cream and fresh donuts, and they'll be available from 12 midday onwards tomorrow and for Sunday as well. Okay, at this point I'd just like to hand over to the park manager Warren for John Fowler's. Warren, where are you? Here he comes. Warren really doesn't know what he's let himself in for this year.
Hello, welcome Furcation 2019. Is that it? That wasn't very loud. Much better. You are awake. Are you ready to have a good time? I can't hear you. Much better. Couple of things. If you do have a good time, then TripAdvisor. We love TripAdvisor. If you're having a bad time, that's Jasper. But yeah, we're here for a good time. So all I want to say is during the working week, we're all a little bit constrained in life. But by my reckoning, this is the weekend, and this is Sandy Glade. So we kind of know how to have a good time. So all I want to say is enjoy yourself, have fun, be merry. Any problems, we're all on hand. Should you need us, my office is always open. Speak to the bar or reception. But more importantly, have fun.
Thank you very much, Warren. Welcome back, Frankie. Okay, so to round out for Furcation this year, I know that you guys have missed it for the last year. It's always a long gap in between, isn't it? We've actually received some fan mail, and here it is. It says here. Oh, sorry, bear with me. What's wrong with this chair? There we go. That's better. Get myself into position. Okay, fan mail. Right, start again. Okay, so the fan mail. It says here. You're so handsome, witty, and charming. It's about time you stopped working with that brainless little squirt. The one that has that really annoying squeaky voice. It says here, you deserve better than that, Frankie. Alright, enough of that. Okay, one other question that has been asked is, many people have asked, how old is Frankie? So I think we're about to find out. Frankie is 5! Oh my word, what on earth's happened there? Medic! Is there a medic? Where's my medic on? It is a puppet, but he's injured. Have some sympathy. My medic appears to be missing. It'll go alright on the night, they say. Oh well, I don't know where he's gone, but if we haven't got Frankie here, we have a step-in replacement. The very shy and elusive Clive. I'll be nice to him. Okay, thank you all for attending Furcation this year. I hope you all have a great weekend. The next event here is DJ Cobalt, which should be at 8 PM, I believe. And for those of you new to conventions, over in the Dune House at 8 o'clock, we will be running my first Furrycon. But thank you all for joining us this weekend. Hope you have a great weekend, and just enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much.